Hello there, good afternoon. Time for the marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Coming up, the Ghana Health Service justifies the $150 charge for compulsory antigen tests for air passengers arriving in the country. And the Trade Minister, Alan Tremantin, has been addressing the first Africa Automotive Forum, where he has been making the case for other African countries to adopt steps taken by Ghana to develop the automotive industry. Hello once again, welcome to the program. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji, has been justifying the $150 charge for the compulsory antigen test for air passengers arriving in the country. Speaking at the Ministry of Information press briefing, Dr. Kuma Abuaji explained that the quest for accurate COVID-19 test results accounted for the charges.
Let me explain to you that where people are using PCR and they are charging, I hear Egypt is $30, some are $75. You need to go to your hotel for a day or two to wait for your results. And so you have to put all that in the cost. And for someone, a new equipment like that, you expect that the cost build-up is not going to be easy. But even in that, you realize that it's still relatively cheap. I'll give you an example. Someone wants to know how many people were tested on the first day. We had about 217 or so from 3 flights that came in. There was a group that had even given me a letter requesting that as for them, they have booked for quarantine. They want to go into quarantine. But when they got there, we realized that a significant number of them had done their PCR on arrival. They opted to wait and go back and do the lab, the antigen test, or the virus, which is still a virus test, so that they can go home. Because you can look at the cost benefit. That is really not as exorbitant. So that, and we've also not had any significant protest from anybody who feels that the cost is expensive. So the cost is more about the value of what we are providing at top speed and high quality, sensitive result that gives you what we all expect. Because the ultimate goal for the country is to ensure that we don't import any new virus into that. All our problems started because everything that came here was imported, and it gave us a lot of problems. So that is what it is. If you ask a passenger, he's talking about when he got down to when he got out. You fill your declaration form, you go and pay, go and do the test. The test itself takes, once the sample is put in the machine, it takes maximum 12 minutes. But you need to talk about that, including going for your results. And so those who said they spend 30 minutes, that's very, very short, I can assure you, because they have several steps that you have to go through, including going through Port Health to get clear, go to check your, to make sure that.
Now, let's move away from the aviation space into the automotive industry, because the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, is making a case for other African countries to adopt steps in making sure that they also partake of the automotive industry across the continent. According to him, the country's objective of making locally assembled vehicles the first choice in all government vehicle procurement is a big boost. He believes that this will give confidence to vehicle manufacturers in the country. Alan Tremantin was addressing the first Africa Automotive Forum webinar hosted by Deloitte and the Africa Association of Automotive Manufacturers.
I think the advantage that offers is that you are dealing with one of the criticisms that consumers have buy in. That yes, we want to develop the automotive industry, but if it's only one company that is coming in and producing only one brand, how do you then replace that with a very extensive used market, that they use vehicle market, but they are associated with. So I think that I know it's difficult for the OEM in the beginning, but I think from the beginning, spreading your variety beyond one or two models does help to make the government intensify their advocacy. The other thing also is that government procurement becomes a major booster to convince the OEMs about the seriousness of government. And so in Ghana, apart from all the very attractive incentives that are offered in the auto policy, government has recently also directed that all procurement of vehicles using government resources must first go for locally assembled vehicles. So what this means, and government in Africa is a big buyer, of vehicles, particularly new vehicles. So what this means is that, and I know Michael has been working very hard with us. I'm pretty sure that he will also be on the ground very soon. But my advice to the OEMs is that the earlier the better, because, for example, most African governments prepare their budgets ahead of or before the end of the year. So in the case of Ghana, for example, if we know the models that different OEMs intend to bring into the market when they intend to start, it allows us to make the government procurement policy become enforceable with our government and agency. So I think that so far, I must also point out that the obsession in Ghana has been that even though we have different OEMs coming in with different interests, they've all worked together and cooperated in supporting Ghana rather than coming in and competed right from the beginning. And I think that has really helped the case of Ghana.
And you're still watching The Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Now, the Ghana Tech Lab is set to launch its interactive startup ecosystem platform. This platform is to make relevant startup data and information easily accessible to startup owners, entrepreneurs, and all who are interested in the startup ecosystem of Ghana. And of course, the launch is taking place tomorrow, Friday, September 4, and will be live on JoyNews, Joy 99.7 FM, and the Ghana Startup Ecosystem Facebook. Now, joining me to discuss this is Daniel Obusu and Emilia Kuleke to share some perspective on this particular event. So, many thanks for joining me. Let me start up with you first, Daniel. What is this whole event going to be looking at specifically?
So one, we're going to look at having a visual representation of what happened during our engagement on the field across the country. So we engage with 13 tech partners within the 11 regions to identify who is doing what, how are they doing it, how they will connect the dots in view to scale up opportunities for many others.
And what led you to embark on the ecosystem mapping program?
So based on the background of what others have done in the past, so we realized that they are more focused on Accra and Kumasi, but we took it upon ourselves to scale it up across the country with support from the MasterCard Foundation.
Let me bring in Emilia. Okay. Help us understand some of the interesting insights. Any startups watching us live on television elsewhere will be interested to know the reasons why they'd have to attend. Okay,
so some of the interesting insights were that we found out that business across the country, peculiar to regions, are based on the culture of the people. Exactly. So for instance, in the northern region, we saw that there were a lot of businesses or startups that were doing food processing or smoke weaving, and that was something that was really prominent there. But we also saw that moving down to the southern part of the country, we saw that a lot of women were into business, a lot of women who are into food processing, buying and selling, and they are really striving to put out their businesses there. So some of the things that we came across on the field.
When all is said and done, what's going to be the impact that you're hoping to leave behind? We
are hoping that the platform that we are about to launch, that all businesses, we have a lot of businesses there. We have over 1,600 businesses on the platform. Right. We also hope that businesses that we were not able to come to during the mapping would be able to sign up on the platform. We also want investors to be able to go onto this platform and know that maybe in WA, these are the businesses there, depending on what you want to invest in. If you go on the portal, you come across every business in each region. So that's
Daniel, you want to add something?
Yeah, in addition to that, is also going to be a help for the policymakers to see what happens on the grassroots level. So we encountered or engaged with the grassroots to know what is the reality on the ground as against what policymakers are doing. How then do you connect the dots for them to scale up whatever they are doing on that aspect? And that aspect is that see the platform as the yellow page book, as we know, where everything there is raw and dynamic. So as and when there's an update, you get to see as and when you want it to use for your research work, you can come for it to do. One interesting thing is that Ghana Tech Lab is the only organization to date who has been able to map out the whole country with this quantum of work in 2 months.
Great. So, help us understand. I mean, this is a great initiative. You would need sponsors, you would need partners. You're making headway in that?
We're making headway in that, but the project was sponsored by the MasterCard Foundation. So we partnered with MasterCard Foundation to do this mapping. Yeah.
That's great.
And then 13 hubs across the country. Those were our partner hubs.
Great. I think this is good news for the startups out there watching us who'd want to be a part of this particular program. Feel free to do so. It's going to be live on all our platforms as well as their websites as well. Many thanks, gentlemen and lady, for being here with us. And you're still listening and watching Marketplace with me, Charles Ayete. Away from that interesting interview, in search of $100 million investment and an ambitious quest to dominate 70% of Ghana's automobile market, local assembler Kantanka is re-strategizing to win back its market share by churning out about 500 small economic cars every month. Well, in this particular edition, we visited the assembly plant to bring you more on what exactly they're putting up. So many of the vehicles that Kantanka is hoping to produce massively as Ghana's automobile market sets off in huge form. And boy, oh boy, I can't believe this is an electronic car put together by the company. It's not surprising. They are meeting up demand in a week when government has instituted its automobile bill, and as well the niche automobile market, which has seen several automobile giants, VW, Toyota, Renault, and so many others, Sinotruk, come into the country to establish businesses, create jobs, and expand the Ghanaian automobile industry. But let's forget about the international giants. Let's focus once again on Ghana's local automobile market. We're talking of Kantanka. How prepared are they? Looking at the huge market share and the possibility of even going global. I'm here to find out and get the answers. I guess it's a very busy day for you guys here.
It's a very busy.
Oh, thank you very much. So is it because of the coming on board of this automobile bill?
Like I said, the bill is in, the orders keep on coming, so we have to,
I see. But one particular side of your vehicles that have caught the eye of the public has to do with the small economic vehicles. This is the first time you guys are doing that. If you could walk us through some of these vehicles, I just want to see for myself, the vehicles, the reason why you guys did it.
This is what people have been using for Uber in Ghana. And you guys can see the demand, the pressure on us to produce smaller cars is so high. We were doing, timing. We were just timing the situation, and it has coincided with the automotive policy. So this is a 0.8 liter engine capacity.
That's quite economic. Yes. You wouldn't spend much money on fuel. How much is it going for?
It's going for between 40,000 to 45,000 cedis.
I see.
Brand new, people say it's tear up. And then if you can look closely, it is really a very nice car.
Already, Kantanka has remodeled its market targets as it's now producing small economic vehicles on demand. These cars come in the range of a manual gearbox as well as an electronic automatic gearbox powered by lithium batteries.
This has 4 lithium batteries, 2 in the engine bay, and then 6 batteries anyway, 2 in the engine bay and then 4 behind.
Okay.
Producing, supplying power to the 2 moving the vehicle.
Okay.
So you could see the bay is completely empty. Where comparing it to the other traditional one, you see that the engine bay is full of wires, combinations of whatever which makes the car move. You have only the battery, the brake
fluid
system, the AC, and that's all.
It seems there are so many open compartments within the engine. What happens if someone drives on a dusty road? Could it affect the engine?
It wouldn't affect. There is no engine in here, so it's not going to affect anything. You just wash it, and then it's cool. It's cool to go. Okay. So we
what if someone drives to a flood?
Nothing will happen to it.
Nothing will happen to it. Even if you drive to a flood.
No. Nothing will happen to it.
Let's go check out specimens of the vehicle. Can we say this is the first electronic vehicle that we've ever had in Ghana?
In Ghana, I can't tell anyway.
We have seen major automobile companies, including VW, already display what they have in stock with a beat-down cost. But managers of Kantanka seem not bothered.
We've not thought of them, and we are not thinking about them. We are prepared on our own terrain. It's like we are, let me put it this way. Ghana, during the World Cup, we've met Germany before, and it was like 2-2 sort of. We've beaten US in the World Cup. So since we are on our local theft, we are very ready for it.
So it means that you're not up for competition?
We are not up for competition, no. Because we've not thought of them, like I said, before we started this thing. I can say we're rather thinking about us. If Kantanka had not started, I don't think giants like VW, Toyota, Nissan would have had the taste of coming to Ghana. Proud to Kantanka. Where were they? Were they not thinking about Ghana? No. But when we started and they saw that, they've seen that the market is ripe. Africa can do something, Ghana can do something. They are coming in to assist. But we are very good. It's a very good opportune time for us because this is what's going to happen. We are going to learn from them, and they are going to learn from us. And together, we build the Ghanaian automotive industry. That's how we look at it.
But Francis, so many Ghanaians have been talking about Kantanka over the past few weeks. The fact that you never listened to the lower income earners, rather you are producing to meet the top 1%. How do you respond to this claim that Kantanka has been too expensive over the past few years?
I think that is a strategic marketing which I can't find in any marketing books anyway. If there is any, I stand to be corrected. But then, for our products to be accepted in the Ghanaian market, and then for us to get that kind of endorsement, we use the endorsement approach in marketing, where you start from the top and you allow those people who make, who matter in society to embrace your product. Then you scale it down. That's the strategy that we use.
But it tends to mean that it never worked because over the past few years we have seen the low patronage of Kantanka vehicles in Ghana. People are saying that the things are too expensive, they cannot buy. They are moving on to second-hand vehicles. So yes, your marketing strategy could have been good, but it's not really relating to the mass markets here in Ghana.
It worked perfectly for us. The reason being that, proud to the automotive policy, we were paying duty like any imported car into the country. CBUs, the duty for an assembled Kantanka car.
If successful and sustained, Ghana's niche automobile industry can sprint the country to the leagues of nations locally producing vehicles for not just local but also international consumption, a feat that will open up a new contribution to GDP in the long term. The scramble for market dominance indeed. You're still watching Marketplace with me, Charles Ayete. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. And you're welcome back. Now, after 2 years of waiting, the National Food and Buffer Stock Company has handed over the weighing scales to measure the quantity of food to the Ministry of Education for the onward distribution to the various senior high schools. Nicholas Brown has more in this report.
In handing over the weighing scales to the Ghana Education Service, Minister of Education Matthew Opoku-Prempeh commended the National Food Buffer Stock Company for their unflinching support to the free senior high school.
This is probably 3 years late, but like it is said, better late than never. One of the issues with free senior high school that makes it interesting is that food is supplied to the schools, and the schools use them. But you keep hearing complaints from one or two people that either the weight of food they brought was not up to the weight that is required to be supplied. We thank you, Buffer Stock, for that, for making sure the free SHS is happening. Because from the day one, we knew that what will collapse the free SHS is food items that will be bought for the schools that will be of bad quality or quantity. If we can handle those two things well, our students must be fed and fed well in the schools. And so far, so good. Buffer stock, without buffer stock, this free SHS story would have been different. And we have to give credit to Hanan and all the operatives in the buffer stock company for living up to expectations, because I do recall that it's about quality, it's about quantity, it's about timeliness.
Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Opoku Amankwa, however, cautioned against the misuse of the scales at the various schools.
We also want to caution that we don't expect that both sides, both the suppliers and the heads, will have any opportunity to want to work together to misuse the facility. We will keep an eye on it and make sure that it is put to good use.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab, says the absence of the weighing scales caused problems for the key handlers of the free SHS policy.
It has really created a lot of problems for us in the past when there was no scale, like the Honorable Minister has indicated. In some cases, after delivery, a week or month after delivery, schools come back to complain that they have received underweight food, so which creates a lot of confusion in the minds of the key actors in this program. So I think what we are doing today is going to solve this problem once and for all.
And that'll be all for this edition of the Marketplace with me, Charles.